Hello class, today we're going to be learning about the muscles. So what I'm going to be talking about is basically the origin, insertion, and action of each muscle that I'm going to talk about today. And also I'm going to be technically talking about the muscles today. So we're going to go down from the head to the neck all the way down to the abdomen or the trunk, and also the legs, and technically everything, including the butt region. Okay, so starting off. First, we have the frontalis. So this is the frontalis is right here, technically your forehead. So your frontalis muscle, this is called the frontalis muscle. The frontalis muscle originates from the Galea aponeurotica. If you want to know how to spell it, spell it like this. Aponeurotica Galea. That's right, that's how you spell it. So that's the origin. That's the origin. So that's the origin of the frontalis muscle, and the insertion is the skin of the eyebrows, and the action that allows you, so the action of what the frontalis muscle does is to raise the eyebrows. So when you raise your eyebrows, just be like, I'm using my frontalis muscle. Yeah, and so also how to memorize frontalis, meaning like frontal bone. You need a muscle in front of you, so frontalis. Then we have the orbicularis oculi. Orbicularis oculi, basically, it's around the eye. That's the muscle around the eye. Oculi meaning eye, oris meaning mouth. So we're going to get to that one later, but oculi meaning eye. So orbicularis oculi, origin is the frontal and maxillary bone. The insertion is the eyelids, and what allows you to do is close the eyelids or squint. So that's what the ocularis oculi muscle does. That's the insertion. Now we have the riscerus. The riscerus is this muscle right here. I don't know if you can zoom in. 17. This muscle right here, the riscerus, is basically the muscle. It's basically the fascia of the cheek. It inserts to the corners of the mouth, and it allows you to move the corners of the mouth laterally. So that's the riscerus. Then we have the zygomaticus. So the zygomaticus has a major and a minor, but in this case we're just going to talk about it as one whole muscle. So it's these two muscles, so 11 and 14. These are the zygomaticus. So the zygomaticus origin is the zygomatic bone. It inserts to the corners of the mouth and allows you to elevate the corners of the mouth. So when you're smiling, you are using your zygomaticus muscle. Now we have, remember how I talked about oculi meaning eye, and then so orbicularis also has another muscle, which is orbicularis oris, so oris meaning mouth. So it's basically this muscle right here that surrounds the mouth. So the origin and insertion is that it encircles the mouth, and the action is that it closes the lips or protrudes the lips. So when you're doing a duck little pucker, you're using your orbicularis oris muscle. Platysma. So the platysma, you can't see it on basically, you can't see it on here. So the platysma, if professor shows you like a magazine and you like point to the neck and we ask you like what muscle is this, it's most likely going to be the platysma, since it's technically this muscle that's around. So the origin is the fascia of the chest. So the origin is the fascia of the chest. The insertion is the lower margin of the mandible. And what it allows you to do is basically tense the skin of the neck. So you're using your platysma muscle for that. Then we have the masseter. This is the masseter right here, number 16. That's the masseter. The masseter basically, its origin is the zygomatic arch, and the insertion is the ramus of the mandible, and allows you to elevate the mandible. Then we have the temporalis. The temporalis muscle right here originates from the temporal and parietal bone. It inserts to the coronoid process of the mandible, and allows you to technically elevate the mandible as well. And the temporalis and the masseter are muscles of mastication. Then we have the muscles of technically underneath the mandible, which is the digastric. So the digastric muscle is right here, so 22. It separates like that under the mandible. So the digastric muscle originates from the mastoid process of the temporal bone, and it inserts to the mandible and allows you to depress the mandible. So basically, So basically open the jaw. And then we have the mylohyoid. Mylohyoid is between the digastric muscles. So it's right here, number 21. So that's the mylohyoid between the digastric muscles. So it's right here. So the mylohyoid, so origin is the mandible, the insertion is the hyoid bone, and allows you to elevate the floor of the mouth. Next we have the sternal-hyoid. Sternal-hyoid is this muscle, these two muscles right here, number 27. So this one right here and this one right here. So this is the sternal-hyoid. The sternal-hyoid's origin is the manubrium of the sternum, and the insertion is the hyoid bone, and basically it allows you to depress the hyoid bone. Now we have the sternocleidomastoid. Yeah, sternocleidomastoid. So the sternocleidomastoid basically it originates from the manubrium of the sternum and the clavicle, and it inserts to the mastoid process of the temporal bone, and allows you to technically rotate the neck or flex the neck. Next, we're moving on to the lower portion of the body, and also the abdomen too. But we're starting off with the lower portion of the body. His hands is on his. Okay, starting off with the gluteus maximus. Okay, so the gluteus maximus, taking this portion. The gluteus maximus originates from the ilium and the sacrum, and it goes down into inserts all the way to the gluteal tuberosity of the femur, and it allows you to basically extend the hip. Extend the hip meaning you're able to do this. We're extending the hip. And then we have the gluteus medius. The gluteus medius is basically above the gluteus maximus, so it's this portion right here. So the gluteus medius origin is the ilium, and it inserts to the femur and allows you to abduct the hip. Now we have the iliopsoas. The iliopsoas, it's right here, number 68. But you can also, if you can, let's take this off. Oh, you can't really see it. Never mind. So the iliopsoas, there is a figure in class that you can actually see the iliopsoas through the vertebrae, but it's actually this muscle right here. So this is the iliopsoas. The iliopsoas basically originates from the iliac fossa of the ilium, and also the thoracic vertebrae 12 all the way to the lumbar vertebrae 1, 2, and 3, and it goes down all the way to the lesser trochanter of the femur, and what it allows you to do is to flex the hip. So you're able to flex the hip. Then we have the sartorius. The sartorius muscle basically allows you to do this, cross your legs. So the sartorius muscle originates from the anterior superior iliac spine of the ilium, and it goes all the way down and inserts all the way down to the tibia, and allows you to flex the hip, flex the knee, and allows you to move the hip laterally. Then after the sartorius, we have the abductor magnus. So the abductor magnus is right here, 72 right here, and also you can see it right here between this muscle right here, this little one right here. So it's right here, and then this one right here. So the adductor magnus basically originates from the pubis and the ischial of the ischium all the way down to the femur, and allows you to basically adduct the hip. And you can also memorize adductor magnus like this action because it has adductor, so adduct the hip. Yeah. They have the gracilis. Gracilis is this muscle that goes straight down right here, 71. It's this muscle that literally goes straight down. So it originates from the pubis, it goes all the way down to the tibia, and it allows you to also adduct the hip. Then we have the sciatic nerve. Sciatic nerve, you fortunately can't see in this model, but the sciatic nerve is in the gluteal region, and it technically originates from the gluteal region all the way down the leg. And if you do hit that nerve, or you technically like aggravate it, you're going to feel a lot of pain. So we don't want to do that. Okay, now we're moving on to the quads. So this is the whole, you can say the whole section of the quads is made up of like several muscles, and we're going to be talking about it in a little bit. So the quadriceps femoris, technically the whole entire quad region. So the quadriceps femoris origin is the femur and the ilia, and it inserts all the way down to the tibial tuberosity via patellar ligament. Yeah. And then we have, so now we're going to talk about like the specific muscle. So this muscle right here is called the rectus femoris, which is the muscle that technically runs straight down from the thigh all the way down to the knee. So the rectus femoris origin is the anterior inferior iliac spine of the ilium, and it runs down all the way to the tibial tuberosity via patellar ligament. Then we also have the vastus lateralis, lateralis meaning lateral. So every time when you, if there's a picture of that pressure shows like typically what's the muscle on this side, lateral meaning lateral. So vastus lateralis is right here. So the vastus lateralis originates from the femur, and it inserts all the way down, same thing as the quadriceps femoris or rectus femoris. They insert all the way down to the tibial tuberosity via patellar ligament. Now, since we have a lateral, we need a medial. So we have this muscle right here is the vastus medialis. Vastus medialis, as I said before, it originates from the femur and it goes all the way down to the tibial tuberosity via the patellar ligament. Then we have the vastus intermedius. Vastus intermedius, unfortunately, we cannot see it because it is underneath the rectus femoris. So as I said, the vastus intermedius is underneath the rectus femoris, and basically what the vastus intermedius origin is also the femur, and inserts all the way down to the tibial tuberosity via the patellar ligament. And all these muscles, so the quadriceps femoris, rectus femoris, vastus lateralis, vastus medius, they all allow you to extend the knee. Then we have the hamstrings. So the hamstrings are made up of three muscles, which is the biceps femoris, the semitendinosus, and semimembranosus. So first we're starting off with the biceps femoris. So this muscle right here, this is the lateral, yeah. This muscle right here is the biceps femoris. So the biceps femoris originates from the ischial tuberosity of the ischium, and it it originates from the ischial tuberosity of the ischium, and it inserts all the way down to the lateral condyle of the tibia, and it allows you to basically flex the knee. So basically the quads allow you to extend the knee, and then the hamstrings allow you to flex the knee. Now we have semitendinosus. Semitendinosus is basically this muscle right here. Semitendinosus, it originates as well as the same thing as the biceps femoris. So the semitendinosus originates from the ischial tuberosity of the ischium, and it goes all the way down to the medial condyle of the tibia, and it allows you to, as I said, flex the knee. Now we have semimembranosus. Semimembranosus is this muscle right here. It's between the semitendinosus muscle and the biceps femoris. So it's this muscle and this muscle right here. So the semimembranosus also originates from the ischial tuberosity of the ischium and inserts all the way down to the medial condyle of the tibia, and it allows you, as I said, to flex the knee. Now moving on to the front of the leg. So this muscle right here, this muscle is called the tibialis anterior. So the tibialis anterior originates from the tibia, and it goes all the way down to the metatarsal one. So it goes all the way down, let me show you better. So it goes all the way down to the metatarsal one, and it allows you to do dorsiflexion and also ankle inversion. So dorsiflexion and ankle inversion. And then we have peroneus longus. Peroneus longus is this muscle right here. This muscle is the peroneus longus. The peroneus longus basically originates from the tibia, and it goes all the way down to the metatarsal one, and allows you to do basically what the opposite of the tibialis anterior, which is to do plantar flexion and ankle eversion. Now we have the extensor digitorum longus. Extensor digitorum longus is between the tibialis anterior and the peroneus longus, so it's this muscle right here. So the extensor digitorum longus originates from, since it's in the middle, so basically it originates to the lateral condyle of the tibia and proximal fibula, and it inserts all the way down to the middle and distal phalanges of the toes, which are the second and the fifth phalange of the toes, and allows you to basically extend the toes. Extensor, every time when you're talking about something to extend, you're going to use extensor, or Yeah. Then we have the gastrocnemius, aka our calf muscle. So the gastrocnemius and these two, they're actually separated by two heads, but unfortunately, we're just in this technical class, we're just gonna talk about it being one whole single thing. So the gastrocnemius origin is the lateral and medial epicondyle of the femur, and it inserts all the way down to the calcaneus via the calcanean tendon. So this is the calcanean tendon right here, and it allows you basically to do plantar flexion, which is point foot. And the calcanean tendon is very, very, very strong. Very, very, very strong. Now we have the soleus. The soleus is actually underneath the gastrocnemius, so we can't see it, unfortunately, but it is underneath. The soleus originates from the tibia and the fibula, and it inserts as well as the gastrocnemius to the calcaneus, and then via the calcanean tendon, and allows you to do the same thing, which is plantar flexion. So as I said, this is the calcanean tendon. And now we're going to talk about, let me just move this buddy aside. Now we're going to talk about the ligaments in our knee. So we have so we technically abbreviate it as MCL or LCL. So this is if we're talking about medial side, this is going to be the medial collateral ligament, which is right here. Medial collateral ligament, and then LCL, which is lateral collateral ligament. And then we're going to talk about, so the ACL, which is the anterior cruciate ligament, which is right here. And then posterior, which is PCL, is the posterior cruciate ligament. And then since we do have a medial and lateral side of both knees, we're going to have medial and lateral meniscus. So this is the medial meniscus, due to it being the medial side of the knee. And then the lateral meniscus, it being lateral. So MCL, LCL, ACL, PCL is in the back of the knee. And then we have medial meniscus and lateral meniscus. And then, also, this tendon that goes right here all the way up is considered, well, this tendon right here that goes, technically supports the rectus femoris, is basically the quadriceps tendon, and the tendon that goes straight down, basically down towards the foot, is basically the patellar ligament. Then we have the femoral artery, vein, and nerve. So basically, you'll see, so the femoral artery, vein, and nerve is basically, you can see it technically in the inguinal region, so which is the groin region of the thigh, so technically this area. So usually the artery is red, the nerve is blue, and the nerve is white or yellowish. Yeah. Then we're going to talk about the ribs. Let's go. Okay. So now we have, so the ribs, we have two intercostals, which is internal and external. So these, so the green side right here is basically the external intercostal. So the external intercostal's origin is the inferior border of the ribs, and it goes inferior border of the ribs below, and then insertions to the superior border of the ribs above. Now, the internal intercostals is basically the yellow shaded area right here in the ribs. It originates from the superior border of the ribs above to the inferior border of the ribs below, and allows you to basically depress the ribs during forced exhalation. And the external intercostals allow you to basically elevate the ribs during inhalation. So external intercostals elevate the ribs during inhalation, and then internal intercostals depress the ribs during forced exhalation. Now we're going to talk about the abdomen area. So this is basically the rectus abdominis right here. Rectus abdominis. So the rectus abdominis originates from the pubic symphysis to the costal cartilages, and basically it allows you to basically flex the trunk and compress the abdomen. Then we have the external oblique. So basically the external oblique is basically right here. The external oblique originates from the lower ribs and then inserts to the linea alba. This is the line right here that technically separates the rectus abdominis. This is technically the linea alba. And the inguinal ligament, which is right here, which is basically the inguinal ligament, you can find it in the groin area, so right here. So as I said, the external oblique originates from the lower ribs, and it goes all the way down to, well, it inserts to the inguinal ligament and to the linea alba, and it basically allows you to do the same thing as the rectus abdominis, which is flex the trunk and compress the abdomen. Now we have the internal oblique. Unfortunately, the internal oblique, you can't see it on here, but you can actually, the internal oblique is actually underneath the external oblique, so it's typically right here. This is like the area where it's at. So the internal oblique basically originates from the iliac crest of the ilium, and it inserts all the way down to, well, all the way up actually to the linea alba and the inguinal ligament, and it basically allows you to do the same thing, which is flex the trunk and compress the abdomen. Now we have the transverse abdominis. Unfortunately, we cannot see it on the model, but it is the deepest abdominal muscle that we have. So deep. So since it's really deep, the origin is going to be the lumbar vertebrae, and it's going to insert as well as the others, so into the linea alba and the inguinal ligament. And it's basically going to allow you to flex the trunk and compress the abdomen as well. Now we have the erector spinae. So the erector spinae are technically muscles that run, let me show you my iPad. Technically muscles that run straight down along the side of the vertebrae, or technically the spine. So the erector spinae allows you to basically extend the trunk. But yeah, you can't see it unfortunately in the model. And then finally finishing off, these little, actually this whole line that divides technically the rectus abdominis is the linea alba, and then these little lines that technically divide each section of the rectus abdominis are called tendinous intersections. So these little guys are tendinous intersections, and then the straight line that separates the rectus abdominis is called the linea alba. And that's basically all that I'm going to talk about today. So as you can see on the board, these are all the muscles that we went over, and just quick tips. I did mention the origin, insertion, and action of all the muscles, and we're also some of these muscles are gonna not gonna be the same compared to the cat. So remember how the cat, they have a bigger gluteus medius compared to a maximus, so we're gonna have to know how to differentiate each two and where they're located. Unfortunately, if I had the cat, I would definitely teach you guys about that, but unfortunately we don't have it. So just little things like that. And then also for the exam, we're gonna talk about the microscope, histology, muscular, skeletal, and cardiovascular system. So basically cardiovascular, blood vessels and blood cells, skeletal, bone, and then the muscular, and obviously the muscles. And also we're going to talk about we're going to have to learn the muscles of the heart, which is both human and cat. Unfortunately I did not review that today just because it would be a lot and I don't want to bombard you with stuff. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I just want to say that if you know I just want to say, you guys literally got this, but I don't want you guys to stress out over, everything. Because if you notice that there are some muscles that technically have the same action, just different origins and insertions, I feel like if you know the action, you're able to technically know, what area it is. So, extend trunk, flex the trunk, flex the abdomen, compress the abdomen, you're able to know. But I just want to say that if you guys need any help or any just things to help you, tips and to help you memorize each region or each muscle in general, just let me know, I can help you out. But yeah, that's basically it. I hope you guys learned. Oh, at the end of this video, I want you to tell me the origin, insertion, and action of, let's say, the biceps femoris, tibialis anterior, iliopsoas, zygomaticus, and let's see one more. Transverse abdominis, let's do that one. And then also I want you to, let's see. I have some questions for you guys. So, I want you to tell me this. What is the insertion and action of the muscle in green? We talked about in the beginning of the video. So, first off, you can see what bone does that muscle cover, and it'll help you. Next, we name the largest cutaneous muscle. I didn't technically went over that. And then it's blood vessels, it's leukocytes, different leukocytes. And then origin and action of the muscle. So see, we definitely talked about these. And then lastly, what is the muscle that allows you to pucker your lips? I definitely went over this one, so you guys have to know. But yeah, so that's the end of the video. I hope you guys learned something, and if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll be gladly to help. Yeah, quick now. You got this. I believe in you, and